Hi everyone, Materim here again with another Fluffmasters video. Now this one is going to be a little bit different. It is dealing with the Empire. And if you've been following my recent battle reports, you'll know that our Empire player, who was leading that force under General Cartagia, has decided to get rid of his army. And so I've purchased it from him, and we'll be taking over Empire in our narrative campaign from this point forward. This Fluffmasters video is going to tell the story of that changeover, as I will be using new characters, and introduce the characters that I'll be utilizing. So let's go ahead and get into the story. General Cartagia sat in his command tent, staring at a painting of his wife, Lady Priscilla. Since his scouts had returned and confirmed her survival, thoughts of her had consumed his every waking moment. The general had immediately mobilized his forces and marched from Averheim towards the northern reaches of the Grey Mountains, to where the Snowmane tribe held his beloved wife and her daughter. Cartagia imagined the horrors that those genteel ladies would no doubt be subject to, and it made his shame deeper. So engrossed was he in his own thoughts, Cartagia did not hear the commotion in his camp. A force flying the flag of an imperial envoy and the Church of Sigmar marched into the encampment. A single figure stepped out of the ranks and showed his chain of office to the general's guards. The guards immediately snapped to attention and escorted the guest to the general's tent. Cartagia looked up as his herald entered and stated, "General Cartagia, may I announce Archlector Heinrich von Grunberg, Master of the College of Sigmar and appointed Speaker of the Grand Theogonist." Cartagia stood in respect, as the tales of Heinrich von Grunberg were well known. Both a powerful priest and warrior, von Grunberg was commonly believed to be the obvious successor to the Grand Theogonist when Volkmar left this world to dwell at the side of Sigmar. Heinrich entered the tent and inclined his head barely an inch to acknowledge Cartagia's rank. "General, I bear a message that comes from His Imperial Majesty, Karl Franz." Cartagia was very nervous. He did not know what the Emperor would have to say to him. "Please, Archlector, tell me of our Emperor's words." "The Emperor is displeased at your wastefulness, Cartagia." The general winced at the use of his given name. "You have been unwilling to support the Empire's wars to the north, and now His Majesty finds you wasting your resources simply to gain the freedom of your wife from the Snowmane tribe." "But Archlector," the general protested, "these Snowmane are servants of the Chaos Gods." "Do not speak to me of chaos," Heinrich interrupted. "If you were truly concerned with more than your own needs, you would have marched your forces out to deal with them when the Emperor called for their destruction at the beginning of the year. Instead, you have concerned yourself with only your own interests. And now, while you are here chasing a single woman, the city of Loningsbrook, which was your charge to defend, has fallen to a dwarfen army from the clan Odheim." The general was dumbstruck both by the anger in von Grunberg's voice and the news that Loningsbrook had fallen. "Why would the dwarves attack us?" "We do not know yet, but they have conscripted every able-bodied man in Loningsbrook and head now to battle the Snowmane. Perhaps they are as angry as the Emperor at your lack of action. In either case, that matter will be dealt with soon. First, we must deal with the Emperor's commands." "Tell me, good priest, how may I regain my Emperor's favor?" "That is not my concern, Cartagia. I bring you the Emperor's judgment. In the name of Karl Franz, heir of Sigmar and leader of his mighty empire, you are hereby stripped of your title and those lands which you have held on behalf of His Imperial Majesty, and ordered to return to Averheim. I will personally take command of your forces and use them in a more effective manner to eliminate those that threaten the people of the Empire." The former general's face went white. "But my wife?" "If she lives, she may be rescued when I bring the Snowmane to heel, provided that she has not become a heretic herself." "No!" Cartagia screamed and drew his sword. "I shall be the one to rescue my wife." The Archlector looked at Cartagia. "Put the blade down, or in Sigmar's name I will make sure you can never wield it again." The general almost complied, But then realizing that he was the only hope for his dear Priscilla, he rushed at Heinrich. The Archlector drew a pair of matched war hammers from his belt, and with one swiped Cartasia's thin sword away, and with the other crushed every bone in the former general's wrist. The guards entered the tent at the sound of combat, only to see the Archlector standing over the kneeling form of Cartasia. The Archlector looked to them and said, "By the order of the Empire, arrest this traitor, and see him transported back to Aberheim." As the guards complied, Heinrich von Grunberg added the general's chain to the other chains of office that he wore, and sat down to plan the next step of the army's progress. The Emperor wished the Snowmane destroyed, and by Sigmar's name, Heinrich would see it done. And this is Archlector Heinrich von Grunberg. Born the son of a freeman in Grunberg in the province of Reichland, Heinrich is a man of common birth. Drawn to the cult of Sigmar from a young age, Heinrich entered the priesthood as soon as he was able. Skilled in both theology and warfare, he rose through the ranks quickly. Heinrich has little patience for the doings of the nobility, excepting the Emperor, whom he believes is the actual literal heir of Sigmar. This lack of concern for secular power drew the attention of the Grand Theogonist, and Volkmar helped quicken Heinrich's rise through the church. Now, at age 42, Heinrich serves as one of the youngest archlectors in imperial history. He is known to be both the hand and voice of the Grand Theogonist, as well as a nearly fanatical supporter of Karl Franz's reign. His current assignment is to bring an end to the raiding carried out by Clan Snowmane, and to bring former General Cartasia to his punishment for allowing Löningsbruck to be sacked. This is Magister Conrad Braun. A powerful magister of the Jade Order, Conrad Braun is the third son of the Braun family of Bogenhofen. Conrad has been a close friend of Heinrich since he saved the Archlector's life during a campaign against the spider tribe of goblins of the Drakvald forest. A voice of reason, Conrad strives to temper Heinrich's religious zeal with mercy. There have been several times where the counsel of Conrad prevented Heinrich from making grave mistakes, and so the Archlector does pay great attention to when Conrad speaks. Though lacking any official imperial rank within the army, Conrad serves as the unofficial second-in-command to the Archlector's forces. This is Captain Derek Hostberg. The Archlector's banner-bearer, Captain Derek, has served with Heinrich his entire military career. Serving with distinction during the campaign against the goblins of Drakvald, Derek was promoted to captain and granted a small bit of land outside of Grunberg. Derek has a keen tactical mind and is well known in the Imperial force for his skill of battle. He sees himself as the personal guard to the Archlector, and has taken the escape of Cartasia after assaulting Heinrich as a personal failure that he must rectify. And lastly, we have Felix Weishoff. A young member of the Order of Light, Felix is the ward of Archlector Heinrich. The sole survivor of the attack of the village Delbnord by the forest goblins that began the Drakvald campaign, Felix was adopted by Heinrich. In addition to being the youngest magister of the Light Order at 21 years old, Felix is an accomplished singer. He often sings hymns to Sigmar as the army marches, in order to keep the men focused on their holy duty. He regards the Archlector as a father figure and would do anything to prove himself to his adopted father. The force under Archlector Heinrich's command is commonly referred to as the Army of Faith. They have been personally recruited by him during a lifetime of campaigning against the enemies of the Empire. Following Sigmar's example, Heinrich shows favor to men of all the provinces, and uses their faith to bind them into a cohesive fighting force. Unlike many within the cult of Sigmar, Heinrich shows respect to the cults of the other imperial gods, and because of that, he even has members of the cult of Mor that serve him with his army, bringing a mobile altar of their god to support the Archlector. So there you have it, the new imperial forces under the Archlector Heinrich von Grunberg, as well as the characters that will support him in the campaign from here on. To let you all know, the next battle this week will have tell the story of Cartasia's escape from Archlector Heinrich and his defection to Britonia. And so we'll have the Empire forces battling Britonia to recover the errant general and bring him back for his just punishment. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It will change up our narrative a little bit, but I always think a living, growing narrative that changes is better than one set in stone. So I'm looking forward to where the story goes, and I hope you guys will be along for the ride. If you like what you saw, please subscribe or like the video, and we will catch you next time. Thanks a lot.